but I thought with these it might be a little bit easier.
As a young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot. No mistake ever kept me late. We spent summers catching fireflies and winters on our skates. One big smile across my face. We used to dance our way to church on Sundays. Mama set the pace. Daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days, running around in a gown and a crown, barefoot.
When I was planning the project that I wanted to bring on this beach trip, I wanted to bring something simple and fun, not too complicated, that required a lot of thought, because I wanted to be able to relax. I decided to make a Suncatcher by the sea. I was really interested in doing some beading. I've seen people do these amazing Suncatchers, and I thought they looked really fun and like the perfect project to bring along with us. My girls and I were super excited to bring some crafts. We'd been watching Sydney Graham with her travel vlogs and how she goes places and does some arts and crafts as a little retreat. So that's what we decided to do. And I really loved that we all got to spend some time crafting together.
Something's in the air. I can feel it everywhere. Every color seems to bloom, and there's light in every room. Now that you're looking up, I can see it in your eyes that lately it's been tough. But now the sun is rising, and we're new people. Let's Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I'm aiming for the sky. Everyone got stories, so let's start listening. Let the rain wash away the tears that keeps crippling. Now that you're looking up, I can see it in your eyes that lately it's been tough. But now the sun is rising, and we're new people. Let's be new people. There's summer. Don't let me down, down, down. Don't let me down, down, down. I wanna be up, 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 so high. 'Cause I've been down, down, down. I've been down, so down, and now I'm done. I'm aiming for the sky. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Aiming for the sky. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I'm aiming for the sky. Now that you're looking up, I can see it in your eyes that lately it's been tough. But now the sun is rising, and we're new people. Let's be new people. There's summer. Don't let me down. It was like my screen.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I'll ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high.
Oops.
Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly.
That looks so cool.
Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if
So we finally made it back from our beach trip, and I had such a wonderful time with the family. The water was so warm and it was really lovely to spend some time at the beach. But obviously we have a haul, don't we? So the vintage and antique shops, we went to 2 on the day, and we went to an art supply shop, and oh my goodness, all of them was amazing. It was such a good time and we had so much fun. So let me show you what I got. So at the first shop that we went to, South Coast Vintage, the first item I picked up were these 2 little salt and pepper shakers. I really love the creamy tones of the glaze on these, and I love the little brown daisy wildflower motif. And I just thought these were super cute and perfect for the cottagecore aesthetic that we have for our home decor. They were $12, which I thought was fairly reasonable. This shop was very much like a case of there's like super duper super expensive antiques and real gorgeous pieces that like are fully collectible, to like a range of mishmash sort of stuff which you could pick up for like a cheaper kind of price point. So you definitely want to be looking around and doing some bargain hunting. I didn't pick up a lot at this shop, but I did find some really cute stuff. And one of the other things I found were these adorable little, I think, espresso cup sets. So probably for having like a little coffee or maybe even a tiny hot chocolate. Now, the reason I bought this set, I actually bought a duo like that. These were $6 each, so altogether $12. I bought them because my best friend's daughter, who is a little older than my baby girl by about 9-10 months, she loves to have tea parties where she will have her tea, which is usually just like something berry or herbal, in a little teacup with a saucer when she has her afternoon tea or morning tea. And I think it is so cute and so adorable. Now, she is really, really good at handling ceramics in China. She's so careful with her teacups, which I just think is amazing. My baby girl, not so much. So we might have to wait till they're a little bit older before the bubby can play. Said bubby is making a lot of noise right now. I don't know if she's going to show up in the background of this or whatever, but okay. So we might have to wait till Bubby's a little bit older before she can do this with her friend. But I'm hoping they'll be able to have tea parties together, and I thought this cup set was a really good one for that. I also really liked how the bottom of the cups are flat, so it's just a little bit more secure and less of a chance that the cup will tip over or spill and break. So I bought this set for that. And then one of the bigger items I picked up from that shop is this ceramic watering can. I really, really love all the little details done in the ceramic with the slip, and then I love how the glaze is just so speckled and mottled, and of course these rose decals are just gorgeous. This is just a really nice piece. It's Wagner and Ryder ceramics, Australian made. Apparently it was once sold at a bookshop for like 40 bucks. I picked it up for $20, so I thought that was pretty good. I don't know how old it is. It doesn't feel like a very old piece to me, but I don't mind because I just think it's something super unique and really cute. And I have a space for it right over there, so I can't wait to put it in its new home. Now, the last two items I picked up from South Coast Vintage were jewelry items. My daughter found this gorgeous glass, I think, pendant with this print or transfer. I'm really not sure what to call it on the back. It's actually, I don't know if you can see, it's got some facets around the edge of the glass cabochon, which I just thought was really beautiful, and it's a lovely detail. I can tell this is costume jewelry, and I'm not sure from what period. I feel like maybe the 80s, possibly the 90s, so it's not terribly old. I think it was $14. So I just thought that was a really lovely piece, and I really, really liked it. And I don't know, something just drew me to it. So I got that one. Then lastly, I picked up this Cameo brooch. Now this was probably my most expensive purchase. It was $40, and I thought that it was a shell cameo, like an original vintage shell cameo. But when I got it home and inspected it more closely, I'm not so sure that it's actually shell. I feel like it might actually be plastic. I can't really tell whether the marks on it are carving, because they used to chip away at the shell to create these beautiful cameo pieces. This would be like the thicker outer layer of the shell, and then this would be the underlayer, which has the color. And I have a feeling that maybe it's just plastic. I couldn't find any maker's mark, and the tarnishing on the back just makes me feel like maybe this piece is just costume jewelry, which, I mean, if it is, I do feel like I overpaid quite a bit, because I wouldn't be paying $40 for a costume cameo, I don't think. I don't really want a plastic cameo. I really, really wanted a shell one. So I'm a little bit in two minds about this piece. I do love how beautiful and dainty it is. I love the filigree work that is on the border, and the lady herself in the cameo is quite a nice cameo, which can be difficult to find. Some cameos are just really ugly. And so I thought she was really pretty, but yeah, again, I'm not sure if she's shell or plastic. Maybe if I could figure out a way to determine that, I would be not so worried. But this is the only piece where I feel a bit like, maybe I paid too much for it. What can you do? The next shop we went to was the art supply shop, and I've forgotten what it's called, but you'll have seen the name in the video. And oh my goodness, if you are ever in Ulladulla and you're an artist, a crafter, a hobbyist, whatever, I 100% highly recommend this shop. It was packed to the brim of so many cool and amazing art supplies, and all for really, really reasonable prices as well. So I was instantly overwhelmed as soon as I walked in. I was just like, oh my goodness, there's just so much here. And it's all stuff that I find hard to get a hold of when I'm shopping in person. So in Canberra, our like 2 main places to go get art supplies and craft supplies are Eckersley's and Spotlight. And there are some dollar shops that used to sell art supplies, but the dollar shops are getting like less and less and less, and you can't find them so much anymore. And when you do find a dollar shop, they're not as well stocked as they used to be, probably because their industry is getting squeezed out by Kmart and whatnot. So I can highly recommend going to this shop. I was looking around in there for ages and ages, and everybody was getting so sick. They were like, oh mummy, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, just let me think, please let me think. I need to think about what I'm doing and what I'm looking at, what I'm getting. So I ended up getting some basics. It was really just stuff like some split pins. I got some sewing needles that I needed for my sewing kit, and just some other bits and bobs that weren't that exciting. But in the end, I did finally figure out some art supplies that I wanted to purchase, because I was wandering through and I was like, there's so much here I could buy, but I don't know how much of it I need right now. So I was kind of trying to hold back a little bit and be like, okay, I really only want to buy stuff that I know I want, that I'm going to use, that I have plans for. First, I picked up this Beeswax thread gloss. I have been seeing loads of sewing and embroidery TikToks, Reels, blogs, whatever you want to call it, YouTube, wherever abouts. And a lot of times I've seen the beeswax being recommended, because what you do is you pass your embroidery floss or sewing thread through the beeswax, and it's supposed to stop it from getting knotted and tangled and helps it glide more easily through the fabric. So I thought I'd pick up this because it was $3.50, which is so cheap. I haven't seen this in any of the shops before, and if I have, it's probably way more expensive than this, because it's not, I think, a very typical item that a lot of people use. So picked this up immediately as soon as I saw it. Then the next thing I went for was not so much a unique art supply, it's just something that I thought looked really cool and I kind of wanted to do it. So it's this cross stitch bookmark kit, and it's a yellow gum design. And they have these other designs as well. I like the look of some of them, but the yellow gum was definitely my favorite one of the lot. So I picked that one up, and it has everything you need. So it's got the cross stitch fabric, which is Aida 14 count. We've got the stranded cotton that's pre-sorted, which is nice. We've got a self-adhesive white felt for backing, so I can stick the backing on the back of the cross stitch and hopefully nothing comes apart. And then we've got the tapestry needle as well and stitching instructions. It says that it's intermediate level, which, I mean, I don't know. It is going to be complicated because I can tell there's a lot of color changes and everything like that. But I just thought this was so pretty, and I really enjoyed the look of it. And I like cross stitch, but I haven't done any for a long time. So I picked this up for $16.95, which is basically $17, which, you know, a little bit on the expensive side, but I haven't really seen a kit like this before. So I thought it was pretty fun, and that's why I got it. Then the next two things caught my eye literally as we were about to walk out of the shop. This set of gouache paints they were $18.95, which was so cheap. I've been looking for a set of gouache paints because I've recently signed up for a course to learn how to do gouache better. I'm really excited to try the techniques and practices out that I can learn from this course, but I needed the supplies because I have some gouache paints, but I don't have all the gouache paints that she was mentioning. Plus also the gouaches that I do have were really tiny tubes, and I've already used a lot of them up. So I was looking for a good set for a good price, and believe you me, when I could not find just something that was like very basic, it just wasn't there. So I was like, okay, I saw this and I was instantly like, yes, I'm gonna grab this. This is perfect. And then the other thing that caught my eye were these Woodless watercolor pencils. Now, I love watercolors, but I do not like the fact that sometimes they are such a pain in the butt because you have to do all of the things to like get all your watercolors moist. You have to have your water set up. You have to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's not always super simple to do watercolors. But I thought with these, it might be a little bit easier because if I do the coloring on the page, then I get one of those water brushes that has the barrel that you can fill with water and just do the water and melt the pencils on the page. That maybe I might be able to use watercolor a bit more in my art without having to go all the faff and hassle of setting up for watercolors, which is not really that fun when you just want to get down and make the art. So let's see how these work out. They were actually on the pricier side. So these were $26.95, which is $27, which is reasonably expensive, but it's 24 pieces. So I'm not that upset at the price. I think it is fairly decent for watercolor pencils. So there we go. And the last thing I got from that shop, which is not an art supply at all, but another beautiful little thing that I had to purchase because, oh my gosh, look at how pretty this is. It was $14, which, again, I thought was like a super reasonable price. It's a beautiful glass candle holder. I don't know what type of flower it's supposed to be, maybe a jonquil, lily, whatever. But I just thought it was really, really pretty. And even though it's not antique or vintage, it looks like it could be, and it's beautifully made. And I just was drawn to it and thought this would be lovely in my studio or in my house. So it came home with me. And the last shop we went to was a secondhand collective, and oh my goodness, when I tell you, this was the shop where I really felt like I was treasure hunting. You just walked in and there was just so much stuff everywhere. It was wonderfully tightly packed and crammed into the nooks and the crannies of the shop. In the drawers, you really felt like you were exploring and digging for treasure, which is one of my favorite things about doing antique, vintage, thrifting, any of that. I love it when you really feel like you're kind of hunting down something amazing and you're finding your own special treasure. So I really loved the last shop, and I didn't feel like I had enough time there, but you know, what can you do about that? It just is what it is. And I did get to see enough and find some of my treasures. So here's the things that I got. This cute little dish. I love, love, love the color of the burgundy maroon leaf with the gilded gold accents. I thought this was a really, really cute little piece. It's supposed to be like a tea bag dish holder or sweets and snacks holder. I was looking specifically for a replacement for my tea bag dish because my daughter, my baby, climbed up at the table and pulled my little dish off and dropped it on the tile floor, and that was that. It was all she wrote. It was shattered in a million pieces. I was looking for something a little bit more of like a unique shape or design because that old tea bag dish was in the shape of a teapot, which I really thought was super cute. And this one isn't like super duper special, but it is handy because it can double up as not just a tea bag holder, but also, like I said, a little sweets or snacks dish. I love it when I'm having a cup of tea and I just put a few little bickies or maybe some fruit and berries in a little dish with my tea. It just makes you feel like I'm really slowing down and enjoying the tea and enjoying the moment. And there's something so special about having a cute little dish to do that with. So this is what I got. It was $5, which I thought was a really good price. So it came home with me. Then the next piece I purchased was this cute little mug for tea. It's from Churchill, England, so presumably from the UK. Again, I don't feel like this piece is super old, probably somewhere between the 70s and the 90s, maybe 2000s. I'm not sure. It doesn't have that super old antique vintage feel to me, but at the same time, I definitely can tell that it's not a contemporary new piece. And I do really love the carriage with the horses on it, which is why I ended up picking this piece up. I was looking for more equestrian decor. I was after something special, maybe a tile or a horse brass or something unique. I didn't really find anything that I really loved. There was a tile in the South Coast Vintage shop that had beautiful, beautiful artwork on it, but it was a hunting scene, and I kind of didn't really feel like I wanted too much hunting stuff. I want something that's more about the horses rather than the hunting activity. It's not really my kind of vibe. So even though I thought the tile was pretty, I just left it where it was, and I got this mug instead. So this one was, I think this one might have been $10. So a little bit more pricey. So we picked up some gifts in that shop as well, but I can't tell you what those are because they have to stay secret and stay a surprise. And then I was looking at the jewelry because I was really also on the hunt for a vintage ring. I wanted something that was different and unique that I could wear and enjoy with my stacks, and I wanted something a bit special. So when I found this one, I was super duper happy. So this is sterling silver. I'm not really sure what the stone is. I'm guessing maybe lapis. It's very, very opaque. It has no translucency. So it's an interesting stone for sure. I am a little concerned the band at the back has a crack. I'm really hoping that that's not going to split, but I think I can take it to the jeweler to get mended if it does. And what really drew me to this piece was the shoulders of the band near the stone setting. I really love the swoopy, swishy kind of Art Nouveau style. So that is why I picked up that one, and I just think it looks really nice. So I was really happy with that. That was $60, which is again on the pricier side, but it is sterling silver. So I figured that was actually pretty reasonable because all jewelry and metals and everything like that is like stupidly expensive at the moment. So I decided to buy that one because I really loved it and thought it was super cute. And then lastly, but definitely not least, I got a brooch haul. So if you don't know, I'm a brooch collector and have been for many years. It's part of my history of Teacup Girl and why I started making brooches and jewelry in the first place. What I really, really love is vintage brooches. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. And while we were checking out of our purchases, I happened to spot a big bowl of brooches on the side of the counter, and I was immediately drawn to them and started poking through them. And I found a heap of treasures that I thought were absolutely gorgeous. So let me show you. Here they are. We have a couple of different bits and pieces here. This one here is a shoe clip or a dress clip. Probably a dress clip because it doesn't have the prongs that a shoe clip might have on the inside of the clip to hold it more in place. They're usually a bit sturdier and have a little bit more heft to them because they didn't want them falling off their shoes. And then the dress clips were obviously on lighter, often more delicate evening fabric, such as silk or satin, so they didn't want to make them so that they would ruin the dress. Sometimes dress clips would come in pairs and sometimes they wouldn't. I don't know if this one had a pair, I couldn't find it, but I just thought this was gorgeous. Now this piece could be as old as 1910s or 1920 because this rollover clasp was actually invented in circa 1910 to 1911, and given the age of the metal, the patina and the style of it, I have a feeling that this one is actually an older piece, maybe from the 1930s or even the 1920s. I'm not sure about the cabochon, it could be glass, but it is a beautiful piece and I really was drawn to it and I love it so much. Now this one I find a lot easier to date. I am pretty certain this is either from the 1950s or the 1960s. This type of Aurora Borealis costume jewelry was super popular in that period and it's just a very common style from that time. Beautiful piece. I love it a lot. This one is a hair clip, which I love wearing these types of hair clips. This type of barrette clip was quite popular during the 1930s and 1940s, and a lot of women would wear these in their hair, and I quite like them because they're a really nice way of holding back your hair. Then we have this marquee set piece. So most of the stones in this piece are there. There's just one or two missing, one here and one over the other side, and I really enjoyed it, so I got that one too. Then next up we have this one, which is just a lovely enamel and milk glass piece. It's really light and dainty and delicate, which is nice. This one here, another piece of costume jewelry, but again, just really pretty and beautifully made. This piece is a lot more modern and it obviously has some damage there where the cabochon has split from the backing and it has no hallmark. So again, just costume jewelry. This one, I'm not really sure. It feels a bit more modern, but then the style is quite old fashioned. And I really can't tell, but maybe it's an 80s or 90s piece. This one has me stumped. It looks really modern, but I feel like it could be 60s or 70s. Not really sure. And then this last piece I love so much. It does have a bit of damage on the pearl bead here. Again, costume jewelry. It's not a real pearl, but the inlay and carved detail on these leaves is just stunning. It's a really beautiful piece. And there you go. That is the little antique brooch haul that I got. So that's it for the haul. I hope you enjoyed seeing all those bits and pieces. I definitely have one last thing to do though before we go, which is hang up the Suncatcher. I think it's going to look gorgeous in my studio window and I can't wait to see how it looks.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down,